Hi everyone, John Fly here. Tonight is a great night. It's the night that we get to taste our first homebrew that we've ever done. And this brew happened on October 25th, 2020. This was before I had the Anvil 6.5 brewing system, and now it's a different ball game. But back then we did stovetop stock pot. It was a 5-gallon batch. Took us about 5 hours to do the batch, and a couple of things that I've learned along the way will be put into play on future brews. But we're done with the stovetop. We're now with the all-in-one brewing system. The beer we did was a brown ale, and I've named it Snak Air Brown Ale, which doesn't focus. There we go. Snak Air Brown Ale with my little logo on it, little label on there. And I'm excited about this because, again, with homebrewing, you have to be very patient. And here we are, a month later, where I get to finally try it. Now, we did leave it in a bucket fermenter, a Brewer's Best bucket fermenter, for 2 weeks, and but a little bit more to the story. These are called airlocks, and I did a video of that whole stovetop brew system, and it was just a few days ago that an astute viewer of my YouTube channel went to the very end of the video and noticed that when I had installed the airlock, put the sanitized water in, that it was missing a piece. As you can see, this is the one that was put on top of the kettle, or on top of the fermenter, and this is a brand new one. And you can see that inner piece. Well, it's missing here. So the entire time that my brown ale was in the fermentation bucket, it was potentially exposed to oxygen because there's little holes here on the top, and there was nothing to stop it. Now, the hole on the bottom is very, very small, and some people are saying that, well, a lot of the time the CO2 was pushing up and out, and there wasn't much coming in. Now, later, after fermentation slowed down, maybe there was some oxygen that got into the system. But then some people are saying, well, there's a layer of stuff on the top of the brew that could have protected it from the oxygen. We're going to find out tonight if I totally botched that brown ale, but we know from now on we're always going to check for that inner cap. And I also have a new airlock that's the S-type airlock, so we'll see how that goes. But lessons learned, and thanks again to the viewer who pointed that out. I can't recall the name, but thank you so much for pointing out my mistake, and I'll put that into play. When I found out that I had done that, it was, it's like, you put in all that work, and here it is, a month later, and you may have a completely destroyed batch of beer, like 48 of them. So, but we're going to go ahead and open it up. Now, I did do a fizz pellets I did not do a priming sugar. I dropped one pellet into each bottle, and that was supposed to do the carbonation. There might have been a couple of bottles that I accidentally double pelleted, for lack of a better term. I tried not to, but I may have got a little bit distracted on a couple of them. So normally, if you fear overcarbonation in a brew, you probably shouldn't open your brew in front of your computer. You should probably do it over the sink or bathtub or whatever, because you've seen their bottle could explode. Now, normally I would open up the one with the label, but I noticed when I held this up to the light, this one had a little bit more of stuff floating. Now, I guess that's pretty common for home brews to have stuff floating. And with this particular batch of beer, I did leave the trub in the fermenter. I put the 90% of the trub into the fermenter, and now I'm learning that some people do not put any trub in. Anyway, we got a little bit of stuff here, so we could open this one with the label and drain it through. I've got a little funnel back here with a mesh filter. We could do that, but we're going to open up this one that is, for some reason, more clear than others. Now, I don't know if this was bottled later or earlier or what, but we're going to open up this one. So I'm kind of excited. I've been waiting for this moment. We're going to slowly open it. We still could use the mesh filter here on the funnel to get rid of any stuff. Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I will, just to see if there's anything that does come out. But this is the moment of truth where we hope that we don't spray all over our computers, and we also hope that we hear a fizz. But I'm going to do it really slowly because, again, I may have overcarbonated. If we don't hear anything, that's a bad sign. Sounds good to me. Bottle coming off. This is crazy. This is my first ever. So I'm glad that I'm making a recording of this. Now normally you just pour this into the bottle, but we'll go ahead and pour it through the funnel just to see if there is any stuff here. Okay, first off, it does smell like beer. All right, here we go. Really foamy. Yeah, really foamy. So maybe we should pour it off to the side here. Whoa, super foam. That may be because I'm not able to tilt the glass, but we'll let that foam settle. That's what you get by, I mean, as you can see here, I got a bit of foam. Maybe when you pour via a funnel, it does that. Let's put that off to the side for a second and see. I didn't see anything come out in the filter either. So, as many of you know, you're supposed to pour something like this. So, let's see what happens when we pour. It's still quite a bit of carbonation there. Wish I had 2 glasses. That is a lot of carbonation. So that could be a good or bad thing, I guess. It's going to take some time for this to settle. All right, well, we'll give that a second to settle. I'm excited to try this. We'll look at the color also after it settles. Okay, so through the magic of film editing, we got the foam down, so we're going to continue our pour here at an angle. And we're not doing the filter there. I think I'll just leave that bottom part just to see if there's anything in there, but it looks pretty good for my first ever attempt at beer brewing. I don't see a lot of stuff in there. It definitely looks like a brown ale. Probably could bring a little more light into the subject. So there we got a little bit more light. Not a lot of light. You do have some reflection, but it's focusing on my face, but it looks good to me. I mean, that looks like something you just have poured at the tavern. So now I'm going to smell. I need to get better at discerning smells, because to me, you know, people can smell that, okay, that's malty, that's hoppy, that's, you know, but right off the bat, the first note that hits me is caramel. It's definitely a caramel. That's the first note. Oh, strange enough, it's almost like a little bit of apricot. And I've never heard that descriptor for a beer before, but definitely some nut, caramel, and apricot for some reason. which is fascinating. All right, let's give it a taste. Oh my gosh, I'm nervous. Oh, definitely lots of carbonation. Kind of suspected that to begin with. Okay. I'm really happy because it's actually drinkable. It is actually drinkable. But I will say I'm not so sure that the potential exposure to oxygen got into this, because I think I'd be tasting a skunky or an off, like a contaminated type brew. I like it. I like it a lot. I lowered my expectations, so hopefully I'm not too biased. But now I need to have some friends try it, because that's the real test. Put maybe a commercial brown ale in front of them, and maybe two different commercial brown ales, and then put this one there for a blind taste test. But I'm happy. I could definitely have a 6-pack of that. And that's kind of the bar, right? Is whether or not you could have a 6-pack of something. Man, definitely carbonated. Whether this is one that got double pelleted, I don't know. But anyway, that is our first ever brew that was done in buckets. And of course, we've moved on to this system. We did an all grain. This was an extract brew. It was partial specialty grains where I steeped them in the water, and then I added the liquid malt extract. For the next batch, I went to the all grain system on the Anvil Foundry 6.5, and I made a few mistakes there too that we can talk about during that tasting of that brew. But that was an oatmeal stout. I'm super pleased with this. Yeah, I could definitely drink that. A lot of it. Got 48 of them, but I'm going to share most of them. So as for what was in it, this again was a partial grain. They were labeled specialty grains, so I'm not sure exactly what was in there. But the liquid malt extract was definitely your typical brown ale ingredients. I don't have that either. I've got to look that up. The hops were Target and Willamette, and yeah. Anyway, I'm super happy. And trust me, I would tell you if it tasted bad. It tastes great. In fact, as it's been sitting out here, it seems like it's evolved just a little bit as well. And I'm not sure if that's just in my head. But that is a good brew. So thanks for watching this. Again, there's the video of me making it. And yeah, here's to continuing on with this awesome hobby. You guys take care and catch you soon.